All right, welcome. It is I don't even know what episode it is. 20 something. We're up there. It is
26, 27, something like that.
yeah, we're in Q4 now. So, very exciting. Welcome to the REI 101 podcast. Did you hear what I just said? Podcast. That's right.
Podcast.
That's right. Tomorrow, our goal is to launch the podcast tomorrow. Uh, my partner, Melissa, has been working hard on this, and so she'll have this ready to go. You know what's keeping us from launching the podcast is we need some type of updated photo or something. So I told her I'd work on that. I told her just use Albert's new Facebook profile photo. It looks ominous.
Yeah.
Like,
Looks like the Terminator.
yeah, it looks like that. Maybe I can mimic it. I'm sure I can do it with an AI.
That's how that was done. So we're good.
Okay, well then I'm gonna do what you did.
All
You'll have
right.
you have to send me your notes. So, welcome to REI 101. We are excited to be talking today because we're going to experiment with some absolutely brand stinking new technology. Um, I have spent a lot of time on in the last just week or so with ChatGPT Agent, and I've basically turned it into my slave. So I have it doing a lot of crazy stuff. So before we get into that, Albert, how are you doing? How's your weekend going? How are your projects going? Any big investment deals that you wanted to bring up today?
Oh man, my last week was amazing, amazingly crazy. We had bought a property, acquired a property subject to, and literally the day that I filed the deed paperwork with the county, so we officially took ownership of the property. Our tenants, our inherited tenants, had a domestic violence issue. Authorities were called. One of them got sent off to jail. The other one came and knocked on my door, said, "Hey, I gotta leave. I'm moving
Mm.
out." So that wasn't expected, obviously, and so
Always expect the unexpected in this
always
world.
expect the unexpected. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they were out. We actually helped them move out. They were out by the end of the week, by Friday. Just left a little bit of a mess. Not that big of a deal considering what the house looked like when they were actually living there.
Hmm.
So, and then we had a couple of general contractors come through. We have one more coming through tomorrow to give us a few bids on just some cosmetic updates like paint, flooring. That's what we have to do, and potentially doing some work on the bathroom. So we got a written offer on one of our new construction properties. So that's
Congratulations.
good. We countered, so we're waiting on that response. We actually have another buyer lead that our agent is working as well on that. So that's great. Yeah, I'm meeting with some private lenders this week as well to potentially get our Roof Street duplex off the ground. But it's been a pretty busy week, but very happy. I love Mondays, you know that. So
Yeah, me too. It's like New Year's Day for the week. So
yeah,
good stuff. Well, you and I had a interesting conversation, and what we're going to talk about today, we're going to piggyback on the talk you and I had on Saturday.
yeah,
We should have recorded that conversation too. That would have been
it
good.
was good.
We just want to find good deals. We want to find good deals, and we want to make some money. We want to help our people make some money, and it's a great thing when we're all making money together. We're doing what we love. Yes, there is going to be drama. There's going to be the middle of the night emergencies. That stuff happens, and of course, when you're in the process of buying a property, you don't have a lot of control over some of that. But over time, when you hold on to those properties, there are things you can do to limit those excitements. By the way you vet your tenants, and how you manage your property, and the expectations and you set, and the communication. That's all important. So
Mm.
what we're gonna do, I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna get on Chat GPT agent mode. And so can you see what can I help with? So
Yes.
we're gonna start raw. And so I'm interested in feedback. If you're on the call, you have thoughts, or you want some input. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a chat GPT agent log into my HAR account. We're gonna watch this happen in real time. So the way this process works is we're going to first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna write a standard operational procedures, a SOP. And what we want it to do, I'm thinking 2 to 4 units, greater Houston area. We can get a little bit more micro, but I wanted to find a good deal. So we'll start with, I'll just use the mic, see if it can dictate. Okay. All right. I need you to write a standard operation of procedures for a ChatGPT agent. I need it to get on HAR on Matrix. I need it to do a search of 2 to 4 unit multifamily apartment complexes. And I need you to identify, let's say, under 120, narrow it down to under $120,000 per unit. And I want you to find 2 or 3 properties that are underperforming based on market rental data. Any other thoughts, Albert?
Uh, I think we can fine tune it from there because you and I were kind of talking about like didn't we talk about like the no, I think you put it in there at the very end. Underperforming based on market rental data, right? Because we were talking about like kind of the 1% and we were even thinking about DSCR as well. We were talking about that as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
cap rate, DSCR based on standard. So when we do a 2 to 4, it doesn't have to be a commercial loan. It can be a 1 to 4 family contract based on standard um, conventional financing terms, right? Anything else?
Well, yeah. Um, I don't think DSCR is conventional, but I would just say maybe based on DSCR based financing terms.
Okay, so DSCR, I'm glad you brought that up. So DSCR is not the same type of loan as a conventional, but a DSCR is a metric that can be measured. So for those of you that do not know, DSCR, that's the debt service ratio. It's basically saying how much money's left over after you pay your mortgage. So if at 1.25 DSCR means that if your mortgage is $1,000, you have $250 left over after paying the mortgage. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Cap rate DSCR based on cash flow. TC based on let's see what little squirt does. So this is all an experiment. So first, I'm not even using ChatGPT agent yet. I'm just what I realized playing with this is that by going to a regular ChatGPT and just having it write the SOP, um, and efficiency is another factor that needs to be focused on because what the agent's going to do is going to take a digital process and convert it to an analog process and do the work right in front of you. So look at 2 to 4 family unit apartment complexes listed on HAR matrix that meet the following criteria: under 120,000, Greater Houston, investment profile. Okay, so this is the kicker right here. It's got to be underperforming. So how is it going to determine that? That's what we're gonna witness it. Okay, and so here's the whole step by step. So what is this?
Just giving you an example of the output summary.
Oh, yeah, this is rent, current, cap rate, DSCR, cash flow notes. Okay, that would be amazing. All right, let's just copy that. I'm gonna go into agent mode. So now I've got this agent turned on. I don't know why I put the hashtags, but let's see what happens. Okay. So this is more than a prompt. When you're using the agent, it's more than a prompt. Um, especially for something like this that can be it can be a repeatable task. I'll do over and over again. Um, you're going to see it log into my account. And so far, I've had it log into my HAR account. See, now it's open. So now it's creating a browser. So what first thing it does, it has its own browser. Now there's quite a bit of internal dialogue that it will display. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Um, and it's like Googling something. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
It may take a second for it to figure out where it wants to go. The other thing that it's doing is it has multiple tabs open. So it may be doing multiple things at one time in multiple tabs. And then once it gets to the login page, it's going to, I don't know why it wants to get into Zillow, maybe to look for, maybe it decided that Zillow has some reliable rental data. But I will perform a search multifamily properties, particularly focusing on 4 units, under 500,000. I didn't say a price point, did I? I
No.
guess if it's $120,000 and I'm looking up to 4 units, that'd be $480,000 max. So now it's reading a website.
Oh,
What?
220,000 for 4 units. That's 55,000 a unit.
No, 120,000 times 4 units.
I'm just saying it, I was reading what it was saying here.
Oh,
Found something, a 4 unit.
Victor Stefan. Now this thing has been finding websites I've never heard of. Nan Properties, which I wouldn't think that Nan Properties would be a website worth using because it's just a copy of the MLS, I believe. A lot of these properties, a lot of these websites are just carbon copies of what's going on in the MLS. Did it say Crexy? It's going to go to Crexy now.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Okay, so it's searching. This wasn't quite what I was expecting. I'm a little disappointed. But it's,
So whenever we were talking about it, and uh, could you have saved that prompt and just changed, like updated some of your inputs, or your variables? I would say, like, okay, changing your price point, like price per unit, changing your geographic location, right?
yeah, here it goes. Oh, I probably could have, you can, maybe it's not even thinking like, oh, I could just log into this guy's account because it's done that before. Maybe I forgot to say that.
What, Austin, what difference does it do? Like you told it to log into HAR. What
Hmm.
does that matter?
I think it does because that's the quickest way to get the most information. You could run the searches, customize the searches. You can even get lease comps, get lease data on Matrix. Uh, the biggest now it's going to log in. It said, "Okay, I didn't think about that. Got it. Thanks for letting me know your HAR login. I'll need you to enter your credentials." Okay, so Richard, the important answer to that as a licensed real estate professional, um, it gives me it gives me all the past data. So like sold data, lease data. So when something closes, that the close price isn't typically disclosed to the public.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so we're getting back on. Now I find that right now it's a little bit slower than a human being. It works faster than a human being, but it takes longer for it to get to where it needs to go. However, once you got this dialed in and you want to analyze like 20 deals a day, you can just feed it. Like you can just put it on a recurring task. It's logged in. Did you notice that? But it's not in Matrix.
Yeah, it said that it identified an active session, which I think that was your session already.
Once this thing starts working, I promise it's going to blow everybody's mind.
It better.
It better. It will. I will not let you down. But we're so early in this game. I think it's important to just be patient with the technology because I mean, this is the first technological breakthrough where it can actually just like take over the task. It's not just a tool, but it's replacing something that I would normally have to do myself. But sometimes it runs into some issues, and then when it runs into an issue, it gets stuck, and then it's just like it doesn't go anywhere. One thing that's okay, so I'm gonna if I left this alone, I'm pretty confident it would figure it out. But I'm gonna take over the browser. And what I can do is I'm gonna just so now I'm using ChatGPT's browser. I'm trying to get on. Here we go. HAR is weird because the Matrix login is hard to find. It took me like a month to figure it out, but it's this right here. It's this pink button right here. And now I can say, now, now you are in Matrix. No node found. So while we're waiting for that, what's the weather going to be like today?
Not like fall.
Not like fall. Okay, here we go. We're back. Okay, now we're in Matrix. Now look at it. Okay, now this makes sense. Now it's going to search. Now what does it do? See, I'm not controlling it. This is all. So it went to multifamily. Clicking on classic multifamily. It's a type of search in Matrix. Now it's got all the search criteria. Clicked on active, which is already clicked. Good job. Property subtypes. It clicked on duplex. It's not doing it exactly how I would, but it's still doing it. It's multi-selecting duplex, fourplex, triplex. I noticed the filter may have changed. So it's figuring out it's it's literally just trying to figure out how to multi-select subtypes. I guess it's stuck with four clicks. I don't know. Or maybe it's going to do one search at a time. There you go. I don't know why it has property subtype fourplex. I've never used that feature. I don't use property subtypes. Because you can't have a 2 unit fourplex. But whatever. Let's see where it gets us. Now I will wait for the page to load. So we got 54 listings. Now it needs to narrow it down. These are all fourplexes, which I'll take a fourplex. Okay. ChatGPT is about to learn that in Matrix, when you click on the address, it takes you to a map and not the actual listing. And Matrix is slow, and they're like, this is not what I was expecting. I'm not expecting this map. I'm so confused. So I'm going to go back. It was like, click on the MLS number. There you go. I'll avoid it. See, it's like training itself. I'll avoid clicking on the address because I don't need the interactive map that does give me the information I need. Instead of clicking on the MLS number, it clicked on the listing documents. Yes, it made a mistake. Click on the MLS number. This is like watching turtles race. Why it just clicked on the address now. Okay. So we got 1015 North Liberty Street, El Campo, Texas. It's listed for $154,000. Just got listed 3 days on the market. 8,000 square feet. Why is it on the flood map? It's not in a flood zone, so that's good. I know where this property is too. Albert, have you ever been to El Campo, Texas? You're missing out, man. You're missing out. You're on mute, by the way.
Sorry, like I'm missing out Wharton County, huh?
Yeah, Warren County, man. So it clicked on the flood map, and I don't know if it even knows why it clicks on the flood map. But if you notice in the internal dialogue, it makes a lot of mistakes, and then it's like, I'm gonna remember not to do that again. I see that the property is a fourplex, which indicates it's 4 units.
Seller financing. Okay.
Seller financing. Another good thing about this is I don't have to use my arms. I could just, this is hands-free.
So you
Look,
can eat lunch.
yeah, I could eat lunch while it's just searching. That's true. We should have a whole series of lunch prompts. Things you can have agent do while you're eating lunch. Seller refine. This is an investor's dream.
They're all investor dreams, buddy.
I know. Is it an investor dream or is it an investor nightmare? So notice how on the bottom the financial information is almost always blank. There, most of these people don't know. We don't even know if it's vacant or not. But it's doing something. It's going to start going through all the listings. This could take forever. Let's see if we can just interrupt it. Let's stick with this one. Just the one in El Campo. ARV, etc. That took 8 minutes. I could have probably done that in about 30 seconds, but please confirm. It's asking me, yes. Okay. So it's going to do an evaluation on that one based on market rental rates. Sticking with this property sounds good. Now that we're in Matrix and focusing on the listing, I can help you calculate and interpret the investment metrics, cap rate, DSCR, cash flow, etc., using standard assumptions or your preferred loan parameters. I want to go with standard assumptions. Please confirm or provide purchase price. Yes, go with the one in the listing. Estimated current rent per unit. So we don't have that information. We're going to rely on the machine to find that. Market rent. Actually, estimated current. One thing that it can do, you can tell it, you can add a prompt that says, um, pull the listing agent's contact information and send them an email or send them a text message and ask them about the rental income, market rent per unit. So it's going to find the market rent per unit, property tax and insurance, the financing terms, 25% down, 7.25 interest rate, 30-year AM. For a conventional loan, that's probably about right. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And then it's going to calculate the cap rate DSCR because none of these listings on HAR, they're not going to know what their cap rate is. And a rent gap analysis. I like that. So I like that it can do this without me, but I just wish it was a little faster. I'm assuming it's going to get faster. But I've also always assumed that Siri was going to get smarter, and it never did. It's just browsing the web. I guess it's on another tab or something. Sometimes I'll watch this for a couple minutes and then I'll start just doing crazy things. I'm calculating key financial metrics. Okay, here we go. Also estimate underperformance. So it's got its own little formula and code that it put together. It says cap rate 11% based on price at 215, 4 units. What's PGI? Gross income, potential gross income. I'll prepare detail. Okay. Potential gross income. I don't know why it's showing me all this, like the back end of it. But
It said something about computer mode was disabled or something just a second ago. So I don't know exactly.
the
There it is.
computer tools disable it for Ben Sync and Markdown. I don't know why. Enable it. It's looking at a different property. Okay. This was not the property we were even looking at.
Yeah, correct.
I th I think it had like says it was on Matrix. This report summarizes the property's key facts, year built, size, unit mix. Uses the agent's stated potential income, 3,300 a month, to model financial performance under conservative assumptions. Property could generate a cap rate of roughly 11.3% with a DSCR of 1.8, which is really good, and cash on cash returns above 20% once rents reach market levels. Because the building is being sold as is and appears to have little or no current rent roll, the analysis highlights a significant rent gap opportunity. Achieving the projected 3,300 a month rent could turn this underperforming asset into a high yield investment. So I know this property. How do I know this property? Because I sold this property. I don't know how it pulled this one up. Um, I'll pull into it because I think it's Richard. You ready to go buy a fourplex in Pasadena?
Oh yeah, yeah. I would prefer that over El Campo, just for familiarity reasons, as I would know a whole lot more about anything in Pasadena.
Does anybody recognize this name right here?
Yeah.
Okay, 215 a unit. See, he's trying to sell it for 215. He bought it for 170. Man, his agent must have been good that negotiated that price for him. Potential. So there's no actual rental income in it. But yeah, the I do know this market. I know this to be true. This information is correct. Um, but yeah, you want to try something else?
Awesome. Is this just a ploy to get your property sold for this person?
Yeah,
No,
is
Is
this episode being sponsored by Damien?
he should. I should charge him just for putting it on there. But hey, man,
Well,
we
unfortunately, that's gonna backfire for him because he hasn't owned that long enough to be selling it for that price.
no, no, it's priced a little high. Let's try another property. Let's try another property. That's funny. Let's see if we can do another one.
so you feel like having it write up the SOP works better instead of just jumping right into the agent and start telling the agent what to do?
So ye, I don't really know yet because I'm trying it different ways.
Hmm.
Um, the reason why I felt like it was a good idea to do to have it write the SOP is because the agent, if you think about like training an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, the agent, it can do the job, but sometimes it will just take the longest route possible to get there. The problem is I get charged by the hour. So credits are for time. And so if you can modify the SOP in order to be more efficient, like I would have to say something like it was going through a list of tasks and it kept hitting the back button to go back to the task list. Well, the task has an arrow, a right arrow, that all you have to do is click the right arrow and it takes you to the next task. But it's adding more steps by going back to the task list. So I would say, don't go back to the task list, just hit the right arrow and then. So here we go. So it's running analysis on Homewood. Home, this is in Houston, 8145 Homewood. They raised the price from 209 to 222. So we'll let it do its thing. So yeah, to answer your question, we're still in the experimental stage. I'm going to do a couple of these Zoom calls this week as I get better at using it. Because I don't know if like I've been on YouTube and everywhere, I don't see any real estate agents using this. It says I can't a lot. It says I tried a lot. Okay, shown at the bottom. I don't know why it keeps going to different properties. Corpus Christi Street. This is a bank-owned property. Galena Park, North Shore. We can go look at this one today. Well, unfortunately, it's not working as efficiently as it did for me the other day. So it's still kind of hit or miss. But I promise I had it like searching for properties and doing analysis on Crexy. It was sending emails to the listing agent asking for financial information. So it's pretty close. Um, of course, it could be slow just because there's a lot of users using it. So, and then this thing right here, this terminal display, I haven't seen it do this before. So and you can see it's like it has like several on there, like it's cash on cash return 26. That's Homewood. So I would probably take a look at that one. 8145 Homewood. Another cool thing is this can it can work like you can close the tab and it'll keep working. Any thoughts or ideas or what do you think, Albert? Give me your honest feedback.
Um, well, I think that, this thing can evolve. Well, like you'll evolve the prompt and the SOP to just make this a little bit more efficient, you
Hmm.
know? Um, I just brought up my chat GPT and I've got those 40 hours basically it says that I have on the agent. So I'm gonna take a shot at this too, but I'll probably spend more time working on the SOP,
Hmm.
and making sure like all of those things are tweaked, looking at specific zip codes and things like that.
Yeah, get it near.
I'm gonna see if I can walk it through logging into Matrix instead of just saying log in. I'm just gonna see if I can tell it like log in to har.com. Once you're there, click on this, click on members, members area, then click on this button, then you're in the matrix, right? I'm gonna see if I can and see if that'll make it go a little bit faster instead of just trying to click around. But for the most part, I've never seen the agent work. So that's really cool. Um, I
Something,
think it's definitely worth the time to try to figure out because, like you mentioned before, or like you mentioned on our run, you can schedule this, right? So maybe have this run like once a month or once every 2 weeks or something,
yeah,
and have this email you the report, right? Or
yeah,
not even to you, maybe to your assistant or to a VA, right?
hmm,
And or like you mentioned on this call is pulling that agent information and sending text messages out to the agents and asking for financials. So
yeah,
automating a lot of that I think is really cool. But then at the end of the day, it's either you or your VA making that connection to the
right,
agent or to the seller, right?
yeah.
So
Um, I think that so inside ChatGPT, it's a series of conversations, separate conversations. I think that if you keep them in the same, like you can do projects. This is in a project. I don't want to show all my stuff, but um, I wonder if I would have just created that same prompt in
uh,
a in a uh, in a conversation that I already had going, if that would have produced different results, it would have had more context.
yeah,
I don't think it's pulling the context out from other conversations. It's like an isolated situation right here, but it it provided a report.
yeah,
Um, this is Homewood Lane.
yeah. It's kind of a little bit outside Houston and on north of Houston.
Hmm. Price per unit.
Oh, it gave you another property too. So okay, so it's giving you more properties too. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it did a few. So annual gross income is approximately 45,000. There's a cap rate, the debt service. So it calculated the debt service. So this is a deal worth looking at. Anything that's above 1.25 is worth looking at. So your cash on cash return is 26%. So that may or may not be true, but it's a lead. Like this is something that we should probably dive into. And if we had time, we can. This is Wall Street and Crosby. So cash on cash is 23%. I mean, I was listening to a Robert Kiyosaki interview and he was like, the stock market's for stupid people. He's like, you get 23% in real estate. I don't think the stock market's for stupid people, but
Yeah.
uh, this is in Crosby, 4 units. We should get DSCR's 170. What do you think, Richard? You got your checkbook handy? Corpus
Always.
Corpus Christi Street. This is North Shore. Cash on cash is 22 DSCR. So all these DSCRs are above 1.5, 1.82, 1.7, 1.66. And all the cash flow is all above 20%. And here's a summary. So Homewood, Wall, Corpus Christi, estimated cap rate above 10, and DSCR is above 1.5. Conclusions, all three properties meet the investor's criteria. They also exhibit some level of underperformance. That is true. I think it did its job. I didn't have to watch the whole thing. Um,
I'm gonna mess with this once we're off this call. Like I've got
you got
some
some
wheels are
ideas?
turning in my head. So at least just to see what's out there in
Yeah,
areas specifically that I'm looking in, like East
yeah.
River, Second Ward, Third Ward, Medical Center, you know, um,
I think you're probably right. You have to get it dialed in.
yeah,
You don't I think if you overload it, If you give it too many opportunities to get stuck, it's not going to make a lot of progress. But if you say, you know, today, I want you to look at the oldest listings in the specific zip code and just give
Yeah.
it more specifics.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if that will be a little bit better, and then schedule that go to, once a week.
Yeah.
So cool. Well,
Cool.
that's it for that. I think that's going to be the future of our business,
That's pretty neat though, man.
honestly.
And you're just kind of scratching the surface there. So I think that's what's really great about it.
Well, just those three deals right there are worth having a conversation about. So, you know, something to look at right there. So,
Cool.
well, appreciate it. It is 1:16. Thank you everyone for being on the call. Thank you for it was a little bit different, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. So, have a great day and we'll catch you on the next. Don't forget, look for us. We're going to be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're going to be on Spotify first. So check us out. We'll be on there in the next 2 days. Have a great
Awesome.
day.
All right. See ya.
Bye.